Hello and welcome to this week's edition of BOI Weekly. I am Terry Ikumi. In 2017, the Bank of Industry commenced granting of loans to micro-entrepreneurs with the aim of boosting the economy, creating wealth and jobs. Now, these loans were disbursed through 14 microfinance banks with branches nationwide. Micro-entrepreneurs who are beneficiaries of these loans include fashion designers, furniture makers, shoemakers, bakers, among others. And through the disbursement of these loans, many entrepreneurs have taken their businesses to new heights as they continue to access funds from the Bank of Industry to grow their businesses. On this week's edition of the program, we'll take a break from our usual beneficiaries as we bring you details of the official launch of the 28th edition of the National Micro, Small and Medium Enterprise Clinic held in Dutse, the Jigawa State capital. Welcome to the program. The Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, flagged off the Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Clinic in Jigawa State. The MSME Clinic is a collaboration between the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, state governments and key federal government agencies such as the Bank of Industry, aimed at simplifying administrative procedures and guidelines for issuance of business loans and approvals, registration, certificates, tax certificates, permits and licenses. And according to the Vice President, since the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic, the federal government has demonstrated its commitment to the resource creation, survival and growth of the MSMEs. The Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, arriving at the State Secretariat in Dutse, the Jigawa State capital. He is accompanied by the State Governor Muhammad Abubakar and other dignitaries. It's his second official visit to the state this year. They first make their way to the National Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Clinic. Welcome back. From the farmer's stand, the Vice President proceeds to inspect all the products on display. That's not part of it, but let's go on. From the farmer's stand, the Vice President proceeds to inspect all the products on display. With the inspection over, the Jigawa State Commissioner for Commerce and Industries applauds the federal government for the idea of an MSME clinic. The Minister of State for Industry, Trade and Investment highlights the importance of MSMEs.
Your Excellency, all these are handmade items. Bags, shoes, accessories, sweaters for children.
The Minister of State for Industry, Trade and Investment highlights the importance of MSMEs in the country's economic growth. Beyond the ministers discuss on the importance of MSMEs,
Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Jigawa State, Alhaji Muhammad Badar Abubakar, MOI MNI, Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Jigawa State, Malam Omar Namadi, Honorable Minister of Trade and Investment, Honorable Minister of Water Resources, Right Honorable Speaker, Jigawa State House of Assembly, Alhaji Idris Garba, members of the National Assembly, members of the State Assembly, the Secretary to the State Government, members of the Jigawa State Executive Council, the Chief Judge and the Grand Kadi, the Head of Service, local government chairmen and party elders, Your Royal Highnesses, the Emir of Hadejia, Kazauri and Gumel, and the representatives of Emir of Dutse and Emir of Ringim, permanent secretaries and head of extra ministerial departments, special advisors and special assistants, other invited guests, members of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed my pleasure to welcome you all to Dutse, the capital city of Jigawa State, on this important occasion for the official launching of the 28th edition of the Micro, Small and Medium Let me begin by thanking the Almighty Allah for giving us the privilege for being alive to witness this remarkable visit by His Excellency, the Vice President of the Sovereign Republic of Nigeria and his distinguished entourage. Your Excellency, it is indeed our honor to have you in our midst. I would like to place on record our sincere appreciation for your warm hospitality and your support to put Jigawa State on board on the micro, small, and medium enterprises national clinic program. We thank you, sir. Sir, we hope this visit will afford more opportunities to the SMEs in the state towards enhancing and boosting economic activities through federal government interventions.
Your Excellency, at the last count, Nigeria had about 41 million MSMEs, which according to the latest Medan MBS MSME survey, contribute nearly 50% of the country's GDP and account for over 80% of employment in the country. The pivotal role of MSMEs in economic growth and development clearly reinforces the fact that supporting small businesses by creating opportunities for MSMEs to thrive is essential for increasing productivity, creating jobs, and boosting our economy. Therefore, it must be emphasized that maintaining broad-based MSMEs is very important for economic growth and sustainability, particularly of the sub-nationals. Therefore, every state and local government in the country needs to identify specific areas of comparative advantage, particularly in agriculture and other resource endowments, and strive to optimize competencies for food sufficiency and export. This has become more apparent considering that trading under the African Continental Free Trade Area has already commenced. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as is the practice in previous clinics, operators in the MSME space will be engaged in the next 2 days by regulators and business advisory experts in entrepreneurship, skills development, finance, quality and standards on how to facilitate and grow their businesses and enterprises. It is also instructive to advise players in the MSME space to approach government agencies that have capacities to link them up with larger industries. Since the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic, the federal government has demonstrated its commitment to the resuscitation, survival, and growth of the MSMEs. This is evidenced through the Economic Sustainability Plan, which provides for specific programs aimed at cushioning the impact of COVID-19 on MSMEs. These programs include the MSME Survival Fund and the Guaranteed Offtake Scheme, which have reported significant impact all over the country. Your Excellency, let me take a moment to draw attention to two important policies recently approved by the Federal Executive Council, which have bearings on MSMEs. The first is the revised National Policy on Micro, Small, and Medium Enterprises, which provides guidelines and a framework for resolving some of the challenges faced by the sector, as well as providing platforms for opportunities inherent in the MSMEs. The second policy approved by Council is the Nigerian National Quality Policy. The main objective of this policy is to ensure that goods and services emanating from, imported into, and traded in Nigeria are designed, manufactured, packaged, labeled, and supplied in accordance with the needs, expectations, and requirements of the purchaser and consumer. Specifically, this policy makes provision for support to SMEs to conform to national standards and comply with technical regulations, thus enhancing economic growth. Your Excellencies, the MSME clinics provide a single point of access that can improve long-term potential for inclusive growth for businesses to achieve success with special focus on youth and women as economic actors of change. I sincerely hope that the participants at this clinic will maximize the opportunities provided by this platform. Let me close by once again appreciating His Excellency the Vice President for his leadership and commitment to the cause of the MSMEs, and to also thank His Excellency Governor Mohammed Badar Abubakar for the warm reception and excellent arrangements made for this MSME clinic. I thank you all for listening, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam, for the excellent remarks. The Honorable Minister of Trade and Industry, Hajia Mariam Katagum, highlighting the activities of MSME in her ministry and the need for small-scale industry to join her ministry in order to enhance service delivery in the industry. May I most respectfully invite the Chief Host, His Excellency Governor Mohammed Badar Abubakar, Member of the Order of the Niger, Member of the National Institute, Multinational Business Mogul, Investment Analyst, Industrialist, Philanthropist, Successful Entrepreneur, Principal Partner, African Business Roundtable.
The good people of Jigawa State, I must passionately appreciate the efforts and intervention of the federal government under the leadership of His Excellency Muhammad
Administration
Buhari.
in order to achieve the desired set objective. Adding that his administration will continue to introduce numerous empowerment
What is being done. I can go on and on and on the support we get from the federal government in the state to boost our potential, to boost our businesses, to create businesses so that we can improve on our tax base and income generation. We say thank you. On our part, the Jigawa State government is also doing a lot to complement the effort of the federal government to achieve the objective of economic recovery and growth plan, particularly with respect to the economic diversification, creating opportunities for improved means of livelihood for the populace through economic empowerment programs and infrastructural development anchored around agricultural development. It is worthy of note that all our empowerment programs are demand-driven and integrated with other sectorial programs for synergy and leverage or resource utilization. This was what informed the focus on our empowerment program around various aspects of the agricultural value chain and creating sustainable means of livelihood, especially for the extreme poor and other vulnerable segments of the society. To demonstrate this fact, immediately after commissioning of the 28th edition of the National MSMEs Clinic, the Vice President will also commission the distribution of various agricultural machineries and equipments to 922 beneficiaries as part of the 7th segment of our empowerment program, creating today 922 new businesses. Incidentally, the 5th segment was also commissioned by the Vice President over 2 years ago. While today's commissioning will economically empower the beneficiaries, we believe it will also go a long way in bringing more land under cultivation and significantly boost agricultural production in the state. Details of the agricultural machineries and equipments to be distributed include, among others, 60 tractors, 44 power tillers, 50 solar water pumps, 50 agro-tricycle, 500 mini rice mills, 155 mini threshers, 63 large threshers. As earlier mentioned, those will go a long way in complementing the effort of the federal government, as it will facilitate the creation of more small and medium-scale entrepreneurs, particularly at the production and processing points of the agricultural value chain. Finally, on behalf of the government and the good people of Jigawa State, I must passionately appreciate the efforts and intervention of the federal government under the leadership of His Excellency Muhammad Buhari, GCON, the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I also most sincerely thank the Vice President for his continued support to our programs. The Vice President's concern for the social and economic well-being of the common man has been amply demonstrated in various programs. The creation of social intervention program, social investment program, which led to the programs such as Trader Money, Market Money, Empower, Cash Transfer, and among others, was led by the Vice President himself. His Excellency the Vice President also recently, His Excellency the President also recently tasked our Vice President, who was leading the steering committee of the National Poverty Reduction and Growth Strategy. Tax was lifting 100 million out of poverty in 10 years. The President believes the Vice President will deliver, and we so believe so. We continue to appreciate His Excellency the Vice President coordination and partnership through the National Economic Council. The government and the people of Jigawa State look forward to the continued support of the federal government. In particular, I will request for the consideration of Jigawa State for more federal facilities to be shared with the state in the aspect of agro-processing value chain within and outside the national SMSE clinics program as established in some other states. Thank you, Mr. Vice President.
The Bank of Industry over the years has continued to provide interventions for the industries to thrive. And there is more where that came from. The interventions which focus on men, youths, women, and persons with disability will hopefully make meaningful contribution to the nation's socio-economic development. So, are you an entrepreneur out there or know anyone in need of support to grow their business? Kindly visit any of the branches of the bank closest to you or log on to their website at boi.ng. You can also follow the bank on all social media platforms as displayed on your screen. That's it for BOI Weekly this week. I am Terry Ikumi. Goodbye.